The Exit That Saved My Life. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, hosted by LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. This is the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. Recently, I had the profound honor of sitting down with Fornesia Brewster, a woman whose wisdom and courage have helped countless people understand that choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Fornesia has dedicated her life to guiding others through the hardest decision many of us will ever face, the decision to walk away from what's breaking us. Her work is changing lives, giving people permission to release what no longer serves them and teaching them how to do it with grace, strategy, and self love. She's not just talking about boundaries, she's showing people how to build them without burning bridges, how to exit with dignity, and how to never look back at what was slowly killing them. Today, I'm sharing the insights from our conversation today because what Fornesia taught me, what she's teaching all of us, is that sometimes the most radical act of love you can offer yourself is the courage to leave. Here's what nobody tells you about walking away. They don't tell you that it's not dramatic, it's not a door slam or a middle finger in the air. Most of the time, it's quiet. It's you sitting in your car in a parking lot, realizing you can't do this anymore. It's you staring at your phone, knowing you need to have a conversation that will change everything. It's you lying awake at 3 in the morning, asking yourself how much longer you're willing to sacrifice your peace for someone else's comfort. And here's the other thing they don't tell you: walking away doesn't mean you failed, it means you finally loved yourself enough to stop pretending. I'm worried too. You could survive in a space that was slowly killing you. Let me say that again because I need you to hear it. Walking away is not failure. Walking away is an act of self love. When Fornesia Brewster and I talked, this was the first truth she laid on the table. She said that for too long, especially for Black women, we've been taught that endurance is the highest form of strength, that if we can just hold on a little longer, push a little harder, pray a little more, things will get better. And sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. And when something is consistently harming your peace, your health, your sense of self, whether it's a job, a relationship, it's a partnership, a friendship, choosing to leave is choosing yourself. And think about that. Choosing to leave is choosing yourself. We've been conditioned to believe that staying is noble, that loyalty means suffering in silence, that love means enduring harm. But Fernesia reminded me, Yichen, and I'm reminding you, that real love, the kind that heals and sustains you, doesn't ask you to break yourself to prove your worth. Let me tell you about Issa Rae. Before she became the creator and star of Insecure, before the Emmy nominations and the production deals and the businesses, she was a young woman in a relationship that felt comfortable but wasn't supportive of her dreams. She was afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over. There was pressure from culture, from community to stay and make it work. The whispers were loud. Don't throw away a good man. Don't be difficult. Don't expect too much. But she got honest with herself about what she truly wanted: to fully pursue writing and producing. So she ended the relationship. She chose her purpose and her peace over comfort. And listen, this wasn't easy. This wasn't some empowered montage moment. This was a woman sitting with fear, with doubt, with the very real possibility that she might be making the biggest mistake of her life. But she wasn't. She redirected that energy into creating The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, a web series that went viral and led to a major HBO deal. She built Hooray Media, launched Hilltop Coffee and Kitchen, and became a voice for nuanced portrayals of Black women on television. She has spoken openly about how walking away from what didn't fit made space for the life and love she truly wanted. Issa's story isn't just about career success, it's about what becomes possible when you stop forcing yourself to stay small in spaces that were never designed to hold the fullness of who you are. It's about the life that's waiting for you on the other side of your fear. And here's the second truth Fornesia shared with me, and it's one that might sting a little. You're allowed to outgrow people, places, and positions. Growth will sometimes mean that the version of you who accepted chaos, disrespect, or survival mode can no longer exist in the same spaces. And that's not disloyalty, that's evolution. We act like outgrowing something is a betrayal, like if we change, we're abandoning the people or places that knew us before. But here's what I've learned and what Fornesia confirmed: the people and places that truly love you will celebrate your growth, not punish you for it. And the ones that can't, they were never meant to come with you into this next season. Bazoma St. John knows this intimately. She's a high profile marketing executive who has worked at PepsiCo, Beats, Apple Music, Uber, Netflix, and Endeavor. She's been named to multiple most powerful women and most creative people in business lists. On paper, her life looked like a masterpiece. But behind the accolades, she was drowning. She faced toxic work cultures where her voice and values were not fully honored. She endured personal grief, including the loss of her husband and daughter, while working in demanding executive roles that didn't care if she was breaking inside. She navigated being a Black woman in predominantly white, male corporate spaces with intense scrutiny, where every move was judged, every emotion policed, every boundary questioned. And instead of staying for the clout, for the title, for the salary, for the LinkedIn flex, she chose to resign multiple times. She recentered her life and career around joy, authenticity, and impact. She used therapy, community, and storytelling to process trauma and redefine success on her own terms. Bazoma published a memoir called The Urgent Life, where she details choosing herself in the face of loss and pressure. She became a visible example that Black women can walk away from dream jobs that drain them. Her story has encouraged Black professionals to evaluate whether their work environments are worthy of them. She normalized conversations about grief, trauma, and boundaries in corporate life, especially for Black women. And here's what I want you to understand: Bazoma didn't walk away because she was weak. She walked away because she was strong enough to know that her peace mattered more than her position. She understood that no amount of money, no title, no corner office was worth losing herself. But here's where it gets real. And this is the third truth Fornesia emphasized. You need a plan, not just courage, to walk away well. Loving yourself enough to leave also means preparing emotionally, financially, and spiritually so you can walk away safely, strategically, and without going back to what broke you. Because here's the thing: courage without a plan is just chaos. You can have all the self love in the world, but if you don't have a strategy, you'll end up right back where you started, or worse, in a situation that's even more harmful. Walking away isn't just about the exit, it's about the landing. Minda Harts understands this deeply. She's a former fundraising executive who spent over a decade in corporate America, repeatedly being the only one in the room, the only Black woman at the table, the only one whose hair was a topic of conversation, the only one whose tone was constantly policed, the only one who had to code switch just to survive a Tuesday morning meeting. She experienced exclusion, microaggressions, and lack of sponsorship as a Black woman in predominantly white workplaces. She struggled with the emotional and mental toll of constantly code switching and surviving harmful environments. She saw that traditional lean in career advice did not address the specific realities of Black women at work. That advice was written for women who didn't have to prove their humanity before proving their competence. So she chose to leave her corporate role rather than continue enduring chronic racial trauma. But she didn't just leave. She didn't storm out with a resignation letter and a dream. She founded the Memo LLC, a career development company for women of color. She wrote the memo, What Women of Color Need to Know to Secure a Seat at the Table, centering strategies tailored to Black and Brown women. She became a best selling author, professor at NYU Wagner, and sought after speaker on racial equity and workplace inclusion. Minda helped thousands of Black women gain language, tools, and community to advocate for themselves and to walk away when necessary. Her work has changed conversations about what Black women face at work and what it looks like to choose themselves. Many listeners and readers have used her guidance to set boundaries, seek healthier workplaces, or exit harmful ones altogether. Minda's story clearly illustrates that loving yourself enough to walk away from racially harmful workplaces isn't just about quitting. It's about using that healing to guide and protect others. It's about turning your pain into a platform. It's about making sure the next Black woman doesn't have to suffer the way you did. So let's talk about what a plan actually looks like, because I don't want you to hear this message and think you need to walk out of your job tomorrow or end your relationship tonight without any preparation. That's not wisdom, that's recklessness. And recklessness will have you right back where you started, except now you're broke, traumatized, and questioning if you made the right choice. A plan means doing a self respect audit. It means sitting down with yourself, no distractions, no excuses, and listing the top 3 areas of your life, whether it's a relationship, a job, a business partnership, a friendship, or even a habit where you feel drained, disrespected, or unsafe. For each one, write one clear boundary you will set or one step you will take to prepare to walk away if things don't change. Maybe that's updating your resume. Maybe it's starting a savings cushion. Maybe it's having an honest conversation. Maybe it's seeking therapy or counseling. Maybe it's researching your legal rights. Maybe it's telling one trusted friend what you're planning so you have accountability and support. A plan means committing to one concrete action in the next 7 days that moves you closer to peace and farther from what's harming you. Not next month, not when you feel ready, next week. Because the truth is, you'll never feel fully ready, but you can be prepared. Because here's what Fornesia Brewster helped me understand through our conversation. Walking away isn't about running from something, it's about running toward yourself. It's about reclaiming the version of you that got buried under expectations, obligations, and other people's definitions of who you should be. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to be smaller, quieter, more convenient. And I know this is hard. I know that for many of us, especially as Black women, we've been taught that we don't get to choose ourselves. We've been taught that we exist to serve, to sacrifice, to hold everyone else together while we fall apart. We've been taught that softness is weakness, that rest is laziness, that boundaries are selfishness. But what if we've been taught wrong? What if the strongest thing you can do is admit that you're tired? What if the bravest thing you can do is say, I deserve better than this? What if the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for everyone who depends on you is to finally put yourself first? This is what Soft Girl Era is all about. It's about unlearning survival and relearning how to live. It's about dropping the superwoman cape and embracing the softness, the rest, the joy that you've been denying yourself for far too long. It's about understanding that you don't have to earn your peace. You don't have to justify your boundaries. You don't have to apologize for choosing yourself. So here's what I need you to do: not tomorrow, not next week, right now. I need you to identify one thing in your life that's costing you your peace. One relationship, one job, one habit, one obligation, one person, one pattern, just one. And I need you to ask yourself, if I loved myself the way I claim I do, would I still be here? If the answer is no, then it's time to make a plan. It's time to set a boundary. It's time to have the conversation. It's time to update the resume. It's time to start the savings account. It's time to call the therapist. It's time to tell someone you trust what you're planning. Because the truth is, the life you're meant to live is waiting for you on the other side of your fear. The peace you're craving is on the other side of your courage. The joy you deserve is on the other side of your decision to finally choose yourself. And when you do, when you finally love yourself enough to leave what's breaking you, you're not just changing your life, you're giving every woman watching you permission to do the same. You're showing your daughter that she doesn't have to stay where she's not valued. You're showing your sister that she doesn't have to endure what's harming her. You're showing yourself that you were always worth saving. So walk away, set the boundary, choose yourself, and watch what becomes possible when you finally do. Because the exit that feels like an ending, that's actually the beginning of the life you were always meant to live.